I thought I'd do a brief video on adventitious roots in tomatoes. Here this plant wasn't trained up the cane, it was lying on the ground and so touching the wood chip path. And you see that, especially where it was touching not the wood chip but the part of the bed next to it, which is rotten horse manure, it started to make these protrusions which then become adventitious roots like this one here, and then they grow into the substrate, and this is proper root. So in the wild, tomatoes would be training plants and making roots as they go, so becoming more resilient to water stress. And the reason we train them is because of high humidity and cooler temperatures of our climates in temperate regions that would cause a lot of fungal pressure on these plants, and also the rotting of the fruit and the slow ripening of it. You see this plant has fruits that haven't really started ripening. I mean, not the ones next to it, which are actually a different variety, so I can't really compare, but that variety there is the same, and over there it's already starting to ripen. Also the formation of the truss is a lot less consistent because it was touching the ground, but that's not a huge problem. So these are called adventitious roots, and they so two things can be done. In a hot, dry climate, you can grow tomatoes as training plants, and that's quite good because you don't need supports and pruning. You save a lot of time and energy, and the production is the same, if not more, because you allow the plant to branch out, so you need less plants to produce the same amount of tomatoes. In colder climates, this is obviously going to be critical unless you're in a very dry situation with hot temperatures. But here we could use this technique to layer tomatoes, so to grow more plants from one. So either by cutting side shoots and putting them in the ground or in pots and then multiply plants, or even here making a plant touch the ground, do an S, and in that bit where the S is, one can cut and make a new plant. Obviously this is not extremely practical, but it's one of many possible strategies. Here you can see that this leaf was already getting fungally diseased because of touching the ground and not having enough airflow.